Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Thursday, June the 6th. Hope you're having a good day. We are here to look at new releases, and on Thursdays we look at fantasy and science fiction. So we have some of those already on board to check out. Announcements. Yes, we do have sprints tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. They will go for 2.5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project, just close your eyes after a day, entirely up to you. It's time carved out for you. And then our next sprints after that are on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and those go for 5 hours. Tomorrow's morning show is Freeform Friday, and tomorrow we'll be looking at historical mystery options because we are in the middle of Midsummer Mist, and that is there are no prompts. It's just read as thou wilt. Anything you like. If you've not read historical mysteries before, give it a try. And if you have read them, maybe try a new author or just continue in a series that you haven't made time for, whatever it is you like on that as well. I'm such a mood reader, I don't impose any restrictions on my readathons. All right, let's take a look. Fantasy and science fiction this week. In the Hour of Crows by Dana Elmendorf. In a small town in Appalachia, people paint their doorways blue to keep spirits away. Black ferns grow where death will follow, and Weatherly Opal Wilder is a death talker. When called upon, she can talk the death out of the dying and save their lives. Only once, never twice. But this truly unique gift comes at a price, rooting Weatherly to people who only want her around when they need her and resent her unfamiliar ways when they don't. Weatherly's cousin Adair also has a gift. She's a scryer and can see the future reflected back in dark surfaces. Right before she is killed in an accident, Adair saw something unnerving, and that's why Weatherly believes she was murdered, never thinking for a moment that it was an accident. But when Weatherly, for the first time, is unable to talk the death out of the mayor's son, the whole town suspects she is out for revenge, that she wouldn't save him. With the help of clues Adair left behind in her family's Granny Witch recipe box, Weatherly sets out to find the truth behind her cousin's death, whatever it takes. Interesting concept. You can just kind of feel the atmosphere off of that one. My glasses are dirty. I can't see. Mirrored Heavens Between Earth and Sky, Book 3 by Rebecca Roanhorse. Even the sea cannot stay calm before the storm, a Teak saying. Serapio, avatar of the crow god reborn and the newly crowned carrion king, rules Tova, but his enemies gather both on distant shores and within his own city as the matrons of the clans scheme to destroy him. And deep in the alleys of the Maw, a new prophecy is whispered, this one from the coyote god. It promises Serapio certain doom if its terrible dictates are not fulfilled. Meanwhile, Zalia is thrust back amongst her people as war comes first to the island of Teak. With their way of life and their magic under threat, she is their last best hope. But the sea won't talk to her the way it used to, and doubts riddle her mind. She will have to sacrifice the things that matter most to unleash her powers and become the queen they were promised. And in the far northern wastelands, Narampa, avatar of the sun god, seeks a way to save Tova from the visions of fire that engulf her dreams. But another presence has begun stalking her nightmares, and the jaguar god is on the hunt. Lots of imagery there. Service model by Adrian Tchaikovsky, big name in science fiction. This is compared to Murderbot meets Red Shirts. There you go. To fix the world, they must first break it further. Humanity is a dying breed, utterly reliant on artificial labor and service. When a domesticated robot gets a nasty little idea downloaded into its core programming, excuse me, they murder their owner. The robot discovers they can also do something else they never did before. They can run away. Fleeing the household, they enter a wider world they never knew existed, where the age-old hierarchy of humans at the top is disintegrating into ruins, and an entire robot ecosystem devoted to human well-being is having to find a new purpose. Sometimes all it takes is a nudge to overcome the limits of your programming. The Wren in the Holly Library. I'm going to double check something here. Oops, sorry. This is a very pretty cover by K.A. Lind. Come on, you. While we're waiting on that, we'll move on and come back. Title Creatures by Shannon McGuire, another big name. This is third in the Alchemical Journeys series. Every night, a moon shines down on the impossible city. All across the world, people look up at the moon and dream of gods, gods of knowledge and wisdom, gods of tides and longevity. Over time, some of these moon gods incarnated into the human world alongside the other manifest natural concepts. Their job is to cross the sky above the impossible city, the heart of all creation, to keep it connected to reality. And someone is killing them. There are so many of them that it's easy for a few disappearances to slip through the cracks. But they aren't limitless. In the name of the moon, the lunar divinities must uncover the roots of the plot and thwart the true goal of those behind these attacks. Control of the impossible city itself. All right, it is definitely coming out today or this week. All right, then. This is by K.A. Lind, The Wren in the Holly Library, first in the Oak and Holly cycle. Set in an alternate New York filled with monsters. She stole from a monster and now she must pay the price. Street thief Kiersey should have known something wasn't right. Now she's trapped in a library with a monster. She can't run, she can't hide, and this man, this being filled with terrible power and darkness, is well within his rights to kill her. By trespassing, Kiersey has broken the fragile peace treaty between the monsters and humans. But instead of killing her, Graves does the unexpected. He offers her a job, a chance to find out who she really is. Kiersey has always known she's different, but she can do things a little better, a little faster, and there's that sense she has when danger's only a breath away. But if the old tales are true, there are worse things in the world than monsters, like a threat more ancient than legend, like Graves, or like Kiersey herself. So far, I am marked safe from being tempted to buy anything. Dancers of the Dawn by Zuleka A. Afzal. I am so sorry I'm mispronouncing that. Under the blazing sun, an elite troupe of dancers are trained to harness their magic. They are the queen's most formidable assassins. Osira has one of, or again, I'm not going to pronounce it right, has one of the rarest talents, for she is a flame wielder. Feared by all and envied by some, she uses her power to execute enemies of the crown. Her greatest wish is to serve her queen, but on the eve of her graduation, with tensions rising among the dancers and secrets stirring in the shifting sand dunes, she begins to question whether she was truly born to kill. Dot, 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 dot. I apologize, I didn't. That's that cover. That is a very pretty cover, actually. I don't mind it. Apostles of Mercy by Lindsay Ellis, third in the Numina series. First contact has not been going well. The nations of Earth are rapidly materializing against the arrival of the superorganism, an alien civilization that promises to destroy humanity before it can develop into a real threat. Well, okay, they've promised to destroy humanity. We better be militarizing. The superorganism has done it before to their and they have a history to their distant transient relatives, and they could easily do it again. But the alien ampersand and his human interpreter, Cora Sabino, are done with trying to save humanity from both the superorganism and itself. To them, this is a civilization that does not deserve to be saved. Not their judgment. When a strange new form of communication between the two of them reveals to Cora how alien ampersand truly is, she begins to question her blind devotion. But she soon learns of a danger that may force them to leave Earth before either of them are ready. A group of superorganism enemies that have been wreaking havoc on Earth for decades. Existence on the margins has made them desperate and bent. Sorry, I lost my place. My dirty glasses are just distracting me. On revenge against any of Ampersand's race whose path they cross. Before Cora and Ampersand can make their final escape, these hostile aliens stage an attack and take that which is most dear to both of them. Ampersand's enemies will not consider any form of truce. The greatest threat to them is not from the superorganism, but from an increasingly fearful and violent human civilization newly aware of their existence. Cora and Ampersand must go to extreme measures to take back what was stolen and prevent wholesale human extermination. But in doing so, they may be no better than the civilizations they are trying to escape. Daughter of the Merciful Deep by Leslie Penelope. A woman journeys into a submerged world of gods and myth to save her home in this powerful historical fantasy. Blah, blah, blah. Our home began, as all things do, with a wish. Jane Edwards hasn't spoken since she was 11 years old when armed riders expelled her family from their hometown along with every other black resident. Now, 12 years later, she's found a haven in the all black town of Awanasa. But the construction of a dam promises to wash her home under the waters of the new lake. Jane will do anything to save the community that sheltered her. So when a man with uncanny abilities arrives in town asking strange questions, she wonders if he might be the key. But as the stranger hints at gods and ancestral magic, Jane is captivated by a bigger mystery. She knows this man. Only the last time she saw him, he was dead, his body laid to rest in a rushing river. Who is the stranger, and what is he really doing in Awanasa? To find those answers, Jane will journey into a sunken world, a land of capricious gods and unsung myths, of salvation and dreams made real. But the floodwaters are rising. To gain the miracle she desires, Jane will have to find her voice again and finally face the trauma of the past. Dungeons and Dragons Spelljammer Memories Wake by Django Wexler. How do I know that name? In the colossal void of shatter space, besieged by bloodthirsty marauders and brimming with monstrous aberrations, the only constant is power. The deft will escape the slow, the clever will outwit the naive, the strong will take from the weak. Axia wishes she could be grateful to have spent her life, or what little she remembers of it, on an asteroid so far from anything of interest that even the greediest spacers see fit to pass it by. Her days might not be as exciting as the swashbuckling stories of her favorite books or as dramatic as the past she's imagined for herself, but they're as safe as shadow space can manage. So why does something inside her long for the stars every time she sees a spacefaring spelljammer vessel? When Axios survives a sudden assassination attempt, she is cornered by Corey and Nia, a pair of pirates who offer her two options: flee with them to wild space, where they can keep her hidden among the crew, or die. It's an easy choice with death at her doorstep, but even in the vastness of the astral sea, Axia quickly realizes that her new friends haven't been entirely honest about their motivations. It turns out Axia is the spitting image of Black Tongue, the long disappeared captain of one of the deadliest pirate crews in shadow space, and Corey and Nia have a plan to claim the mysterious treasure that the pirate queen vanished while pursuing. To survive, Axia will have to fill Black Tongue's blood-stained boots and embark on a more perilous and thrilling adventure than any she's dared to dream. Let's see, Fate of the Sun King, sorry, by Nisha J. Tooley, third in the Artifacts of Oranos series. With the heart crown now in her possession, Lore must navigate the dangers of being an heir on the run, knowing more than one power-hungry ruler is after her blood. When she returns to Aphelion to unlock her magic and recover her family's legacy, it becomes clearer than ever that all that's gold doesn't sparkle. No stranger to battle, she continues to fight her attraction to the Aurora Prince, understanding this might be the one she finally loses. As the past mixes with the present, Lore uncovers the truth about the artifacts and their role in shaping her destiny. Now her future hangs in the balance, leaving her closer than ever to getting everything she's ever wanted, or losing it all forever. House of Light and Ether, Gilded City number 3 by Leah Stone. Everything was falling in place, and I should have been excited because it meant I was one step closer to finding the weapon that would help me defeat the Nightlings. But it also meant my death loomed over me. Fallon Bane has never been a normal girl. From the moment she was born into the House of Ash and Shadow, to being cursed to feel pain whenever she was touched, to falling in love with a royal heir of the House of Light and Ether, nothing has seemed to go to plan. So when she runs away after finding out she's starting to give in to her dark magic, she shouldn't be surprised that it goes wrong. But when it does, and her friends save her from her Nightling mother, she returns to the Gilded City, not just cursed, but also the chosen one of a prophecy. Of course she's the chosen one. She will save the Fae from the Nightling War, and she will give her life to do so. Fallon wants to be the hero everyone believes she can be, but she wants to live even more. I want a book where it's the chosen one adjacent. Just missed it. Moonstorm by Yoonha Lee. In a society where conformity is valued above all else, a teen girl training to become an imperial pilot is forced to return to her rebel roots to save her world. Hua Young is just 10 years old when Imperial forces destroyed her rebel moon home. Now, 6 years later, she is a citizen of the very empire that made her an orphan. It's called Surviving. Desperate to shake her rebel past, Hua Young dreams of one day becoming a Lancer pilot, an elite group of warriors who fly into battle using the Empire's most advanced tech, giant martial robots. Lancers are powerful, and Hua Young would do anything to be the strong one for once in her life. When an attack on their boarding school leaves Hua Young and her classmates stranded on an Imperial space fleet, her dreams quickly become a reality. As it turns out, the fleet is in dire need of pilot candidates, and Hua Young, along with her brainy best friend Gyum, rival Bei, and class clown Seong Soo, are quick to volunteer. But training is nothing like what they expected, and secrets like the fate of the fleet's previous Lancer squad and hidden truths about the rebellion itself are stacking up. And when Hua Young uncovers a conspiracy that puts their entire world at risk, she's forced to make a choice between her rebel past and an empire she's no longer sure she can trust. The Accidental Seraph, Karen Hollow Fated Mates Book 1 by Macy Aurora. When Atlas Black, a bad boy with a reputation in Karen Hollow, walks into the hole-in-the-wall bar investigating a demon sighting, it's mostly business as usual until he comes face to face with his calyx, his fated mate, etc., etc. We are out of time, so let's look at the covers of the last two. The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King. Oh, by Carissa Broadbent. Shoot. Let's see if we can look at this one. That one's a big name. And Gods and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim. Carissa Broadbent is kind of a name. Second in the Crowns of Nyaxia. Oh, it's vampires. I'm out. Love is a sacrifice of the altar of love is a sacrifice at the altar of power. In the wake of the Kajari, everything Aurea once thought she thought to be true has been destroyed. A prisoner in her own kingdom, grieving the only family she ever had and reeling from a gutting betrayal, she no longer even knows the truth of her own blood. She's left only with one certainty: she cannot trust anyone, least of all Rain. Rain's own nobles are none too eager to accept a turned king, especially one who was once a slave, and the House of Blood digs their claws into the kingdom, threatening to tear it apart from the inside. When Rain offers Aurea a secret alliance, taking the deal is her only chance at reclaiming her kingdom and gaining her vengeance against the lover who betrayed her. But to do so, she'll need to harness a devastating ancient power intertwined with her father's greatest secrets. But with enemies closing in on all sides, nothing is as it seems. As she unravels her past and faces her future, Aurea finds herself forced to choose between the bloody reality of seizing power and the devastating love that could be her downfall. All right. That is all we have time for. Thank you guys very much. Hello, Helen. How are you doing? How's the day going? Appreciate you popping in. All righty. That is it for fantasy and science fiction being released this week. Tonight I do have sprints at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. They'll go for 2.5 hours. Tomorrow's morning show will be historical mysteries because we are in the middle of the Midsummer Hiss Mist readathon. Hope you're having a good Thursday. Read good books, and as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Om nom nom. Have a good day, and God bless.